Is it true that smartphones are not made by robots at all? What's used to make the strongest black boxes for airplanes? All the answers and key production secrets are in this video. Let's start with the question, how does smartphone manufacturing even begin? That's right, it starts with a plan. Its development is done by engineers who take into account hundreds of different parameters.
I did it.
In general, when designing a smartphone model, the market demand, the relevance of the various modules, and even the fashion for a particular design are necessarily studied. So we have an idea. This is followed by a finished drawing which outlines all the elements of the future smartphone. Simultaneously, the development of the firmware begins. It's repeatedly refined and corrected. Soon, the work on its internals begins. As a rule, smartphones are only made in factories and most of the components come from other highly specialized industries. Robots perform high-precision operations, for example, assembling small parts, processors, or boards. But human labor isn't eliminated either. People do most of the assembly work. At the beginning of the production line, the smartphone is a piece of metal, but in the end, it's a real device. Someone screws in the back camera, someone screws in the front camera, the motherboard's checked, and so on. The ready smartphones are placed in special containers, which are then sent to the labs for testing. This is the next stage. At this stage, a separate batch of smartphones is selected. They're tested on many parameters, for example, the durability of the body. Also, the gadgets are tested for resistance to weather conditions, heat and frost resistance. Also, workers cannot go without checking the SIM card slots, buttons, connectors, and of course, the camera. Moreover, the device is also tested for human factors. If everything's okay, the ready smartphones are sent for packaging. They're put into boxes along with the necessary accessories. Then they're stored and sent to the shelves of electronic stores or directly into the hands of customers. Laptops. A laptop consists of about 10 to 15 basic components, which come from all over the world. First, the base, the body, is taken. The first thing the assembly starts with is the motherboard. This is what allows all the other parts to be connected. Next comes the installation of the hard drive, memory card, microprocessors, keyboard, display, and then all the ports are connected and cables are laid inside, which is the most tedious part of the assembly. Similar to smartphones, once assembled, the testing process begins, which includes checking all the capabilities of the device, the operation of each port, and all other functions in the system. Next comes the starting, the operating system is loaded, and advanced testing is performed. Once this process is complete, the laptop is sent to the packaging area, where it undergoes a quality check and is packed in a box along with its accessories. Black boxes. A black box in an airplane is designed to withstand the most powerful shocks and overloads because its main purpose is to record all aircraft readings and pilots' conversations and save them so that, in case of a plane crash, it's easier to conduct a competent investigation. To ensure the safety of this item, the fully sealed body is made of high-strength steel or titanium. Inside, there's a powerful layer of thermal insulation and damping materials. Microchips are installed in the black box, which are used to record indicators and conversations. The electronic boards of the device are fixed on special shock absorbers for additional protection. The board itself is similar in properties and characteristics to the familiar flash drive. And yes, black boxes are not black at all. As a rule, it's a cylinder or ball colored red or orange. The reason for that is simple. In case of an accident, the bright hue makes the box more visible among the debris, and the rounded outline is less susceptible to damage. Next, we'll talk not only about electronics, but also about food, sports equipment, and other products. Lots of interesting things are further. Energy drinks. As a rule, all beverage production equipment is fully automated. Machines produce the components of the containers at a fantastic speed. A huge number of blanks go along the conveyors. On another conveyor belt, carefully cleaned and inspected cans are filled with the beverage with the help of filling systems. This all goes into the pasteurizer. The final products are several thousand cans or bottles which are shrink-wrapped without human hands and automatically transported to the warehouse, where they're later distributed to the points of sale. Fries. The production of fries begins with the harvest, which in turn is taken to a factory. There, the potatoes are sent to be peeled, where dirt, plant debris and other things are removed. The potatoes are then washed under jets of water. They're steamed, which allows the skin to soften. This makes it easier to remove, which is what happens in the peeling machine. After the potatoes are cleaned of dirt and peels, they go on the conveyor belt for revision. During the inspection, rotten, insufficiently peeled, or green potatoes are removed. Then the flow of potatoes is conveyed to the cutting machine, which is continuously fed with water. The next step is preliminary inspection of the product for quality. The cut potato slices are then blanched, which means the product is briefly treated first with hot and then cold water. The potato slices are then dried either by centrifuging or vibrating. All this is followed by a pre-frying for a few minutes in non-hydrogenated vegetable oil. All of this is smoothly followed by the freezing of the potato slices. The final step is weighing and packaging. The product packs are then delivered to special refrigerated warehouses, from where they're transported to stores and then our refrigerators. Vitamins. The vitamin production process involves several steps. The manufacturer buys raw vitamins and other ingredients from distributors and then checks them and mixes them if necessary. The vitamins may undergo a wet granulation stage, after which they become the right size. They're weighed, then cleaned of debris or dust and tested. A certain amount of powder is then placed into a capsule. The process of making vitamins can vary depending on the shape or form, whether it's a tablet or a capsule. In the case of a tablet, the powder goes into a mold and then distributed to blisters. Quality control is carried out in several stages. Cigarettes. Each tobacco company has its own formulation, but the basis is similar. All production in the factories is automated. The work is done by machines. The task of a human being is to control the work and add ingredients. From there is the so-called aging stage. Raw materials are stored in warehouses to remove excess moisture. Next, the tobacco mixture in cubes is cut into thin plates. The next step is called conditioning. The finished plates are shredded and steamed with hot steam and aromatics. The cut raw material is stored in special hoppers. Then the tobacco product passes through the machine, which thoroughly grinds it. The tobacco is placed in special chambers where it's dried under the influence of high temperatures and infrared radiation. The raw material is soaked with chemical liquids which impart flavor, aroma, and strength to the mixture. To make a finished cigarette, the flavored tobacco is placed in a machine that cuts tissue paper, rolls the crushed mixture into it, and inserts a filter. The cigarettes are then distributed into packs, covered with polyethylene film, and labeled with excise stamps. At the end, an automated machine packs them into blocks, and the finished product is sent on store shelves. Where there are cigarettes, there are matches. During the production of matches, the log is cut into thin sheets, which are further cut into straws. Match boxes are made in another workshop. First, the cardboard is painted over. Images or information are printed on it. Next, the cardboard is cut into pieces of a certain size. Finally, it's time for the molding process, internal and external. Before the straw goes into the matchbox, it must dry and soak in a mixture of substances for better combustion. After the drying shop, the matches are sent on a conveyor belt to the dipping shop, where the matches and match boxes are soaked with a combustible mixture. All this takes place in different tanks because the composition of the mixture for soaking matchboxes and matches are different. Then the matchboxes are filled with matches, packed into blocks, and sent on store shelves. Tennis balls. For making tennis balls, natural and synthetic rubbers are mixed. Then blanks are formed from this mixture, which are heated under pressure. The halves of the future tennis ball are formed. Then these hemispheres are grounded, polished, and glued. Then they're pumped with compressed air, wrapped with a tennis felt, and sewed. A mandatory step is to steam the ball to make it puffy and check the product for durability. That's all, guys. Which production process impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.